And the second thing I'm thinking about is, it seems like every company is trying to tokenize everything these days. You can tokenize art, you can tokenize VC funds, you can tokenize bonds, equities, etc., etc., etc. Tokenization is great because it allows for fractional ownership, and it is also showing the proof of ownership. However, there is still a mismatch in terms of the predictability, because smart contracts, essentially, they act in predictable ways. However, the real world assets that back the tokens, they may be, more volatile. You need to still interact with the legacy ecosystems and the legacy infrastructure. So we will need some form of better oracles or better discovery and data sharing mechanisms.
We were talking about this the other day, actually, is one of the most annoying things in DeFi, but one of the coolest things in DeFi is you can do over-collateralized lending, right? So you can take your, my wife used to work in insurance and see all these kind of people buying millions and millions of dollars worth of art and then just locking it in a room and no one's looking at it because they want the exposure, but they don't really care about the art. They just want to use it as an investment. So the tokenization is kind of cool because what you can do is you can then over-collateralize lend that, get back back some kind of stable coins off the back of it. But the big problem is that everyone's at risk in DeFi of that instant one block liquidation, right? And that is terrifying. If you have say, I know people who have tokenized, who issued a token in their startup, right? And they've taken money out against a token to then buy a house. And I'm thinking dude, you're going to get liquidated for your house with about a 9-second warning. And that's one of the biggest problems with DeFi right now is I think there's very few platforms that will have solved that liquidation problem correctly. Whilst the tokenization problem is everybody's using this, right? I mean, Aave is a huge platform, Lido's a huge platform, and Lido isn't really doing that kind of aspect. But the over-collateralized lending is one of the main aspects, I think, in this. But it's the scary aspect of that liquidation, I think, hasn't really been solved properly at the moment.
Look, I'll tell a story. And one of my spicy hot takes is that I don't really believe in auto liquidation for real world assets. And I'll tell you a story. So I was running, one of the big businesses on Wall Street when COVID hit. I used to run FX at Citi. We had margin call for every single fund that you can imagine in the entire world. BlackRock, every asset manager, because assets dropped 20% in a month. Right, we had the right to liquidate everybody's derivative exposure.
Goodbye client base.
Goodbye world. Right, if we'd have liquidated all of your pensions, right, they would have liquidated all of those assets.
It was exactly the same at Nomura. They had the same thing.
The point of automation is not to remove the needed judgment; it's to remove the inefficiencies.